original, but I just like I can't stand it. I can't stand it because every time you think that you and I have been looking around, we've noticed some friends of ours have lost their minds, and they've got to. And they find a scandal every single day that's new. Trump is this, Trump is that, he's racist. He's getting rid of all of the Medal of Honor winners who aren't white men from the data. Like, all the worst things they have. And then the next day they're on to a new one, and, like, they never bother.
If they could deport a terrorist, they could do it to you.
They never bother to, like, review and say, by the way, yesterday apparently I was off on that. Doesn't matter. One thing I know I'm
They're
right
on
at.
to the next thing
But the biggest single thing, I don't know how I would say that. The biggest single issue that makes the most men liars is the issue of attractive female teachers having sex with their students. So there is
How young a student?
This one's 15. So go look at the picture I sent.
I feel like teenager is different. There's ones there's
so
wasn't there one
married Chicago
that,
teacher charged with molesting 15-year-old student during a tutoring session. 30-year-old Christina Formella is accused of sexually assaulting a student before. So she is a woman who actually, it's funny because there's an Instagram picture of her here, but her mugshot is much hotter. Much hotter, which is a very Alice thing to do. Not that you've had a mugshot, but hopefully, God willing, soon.
I know.
But you do always look the next day after we go out, you always look better. I always think it's a great look for you.
Thanks.
So here's the thing, and people are saying, so here's somebody who's saying, this woman is beautiful. Somebody's saying, who's going to say it? I'm just, and then somebody, Colin Rugg, who we know is a big right-wing guy, says, I'm just wondering why it's always the blonde white female teachers. He said, they said, I'm just waiting for the comments for the men that say, why didn't this ever happen to me? Colin Rugg says, you know they're coming. And somebody steps up and says, I'll start. Why didn't this ever happen to me? And I hate that this is a thing because I know that you know what you're supposed to say, and people in polite company know what they're supposed to say. And I even know like that you want it to be true. You want it to be true that as a 15-year-old, by the way, every student in this, and I had the same thing when I was not even 15, 14. In Austin Prep, there was this teacher who was really young. She was like 22. A blonde woman. This is an all-boys school back then. So this is like 1987, 88. This beautiful blonde teacher was in the school. Or I don't even know what she taught us. But I spent her entire class because I was stuck in Austin Prep. It was it's in Reading, Massachusetts. It still is a private school. And the only thing she had a crappy school. The classroom was crappy, so it was in the third floor or whatever, second floor. And I was overlooking these woods in North Reading, these crappy woods. And I was so bored being in school, and I didn't like being there. But Miss H, we'll call her, because I think that was her last name. She was within 5 years of all of our ages, us being there. Like she looked like a high school student. She was really young. She was really beautiful. And this is an all-boys school full of male teachers and priests. And then this bada boom. So there were slim pickings. We're 14, 15 years old at the time. I remember explicitly looking at trees and having sex with Miss H in the trees. And that was like, that's what I put together. I said, like, okay, it would be in that tree, and that branch. Those are high trees, 40 feet up, whatever.
Can you push that camera up? I'm sorry. I know.
So, how's that?
I can't see it anymore.
Okay.
It's fine. Leave it. It's probably fine. Or better, at least.
So that's the thing was, and we were all, every student in that class who was into women were thinking the same thing. And now I wasn't somebody who was ever like Miss Howell. I'm sorry. Damn it.
Why
Sorry.
are you like this?
Sorry. I think that was her name. Actually, now that I think of it, I like the idea of it was Howl, but it wasn't. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. If you're listening now or somebody gets this to you, I apologize. I was just the the prospect of having been intimate with her and having her be arrested for it would have been seen as unthinkable because she's a beautiful woman and we were all boys who were attracted to her. And I know we have to play this game, and I'm thinking right now I can think of names of people who are on our circle.
But don't you think there's a little bit of a difference between fantasy and reality? And that, I mean, okay, so there's like an extreme case where it's like a 20-year-old teacher and like a 17-year-old boy, and I think, you know, there's shades of gray there a little bit. But a lot of these are like, there was that one case where it's the teacher and she's like 30 something and like a 12-year-old got her pregnant. I mean, that's psychotic.
She was beautiful. Mary Kay Letourneau?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is a recent one.
Okay, I don't know.
This is a recent one. And
okay. No, 12-year-old, that's different. That's different.
That's
different.
psychotic. Yeah. But even 15, like, I mean, do you see the kids that our daughter goes to school with that are 14, 15?
I'd rather not talk about the kids our daughter goes to school with.
Yeah, but they're baby.
Okay,
what kind of adult woman?
Okay, Allison,
and I think I would feel differently about it when I was younger, but I like as an adult.
What kind of adult woman?
What kind of adult woman?
This lady
would
just got
seriously hook up with somebody who's literally a baby.
Adult women seriously hook up with all sorts of bottom-feeding, cretin, demonic, unemployed, pseudo-intellectual losers all the time around the world, Alice. So. Don't ask me like what kind of woman. Women are always doing horrible like things, like hooking up with these ogres and pieces of crap all over the place. So, look, what kind of woman? No, she's obviously a piece of crap, no doubt about that. She just got married, so she just got married last year.
She's a piece of crap.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not the point here. The point is not a piece of crap. The point is that for a boy, a kid who's 15 years old, who wants to be sleeping with his classmates anyway, if he's straight. Oh, well, actually, if he's gay too, I guess. And that it comes true with somebody else. I'm sorry. I am.
Do you feel different if it's a male teacher sleeping with a gay kid?
Oh, yeah, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's totally different. Totally different. I think there's a flood of emotions there. I think that there's confusion. I think there's, I feel different with any male teacher at all trying to form any relationship with a child. It's not just X's and O's and school stuff at all. It's all shady. It's all grifty. It's all.
So is your sense that like that men are always the instigators and women are always the like allowers of the activity to happen?
Certainly. Yeah. I mean, there's no way. By the way, she didn't stun gun this kid and tie him up. And I know that, like, by the law, you can't. There's a lot of shame that goes around. It's not the freaking same. It's not the same. It's not. It just simply isn't the same. Men and women are different. Okay,
That's
it's
true.
not the same.
Fair.
This woman is attractive, and I can't like. There are sometimes.
I just think maybe if you're attracted to children, maybe you shouldn't become a teacher.
Okay, Alice. I'm
thought.
not saying she's not an a-hole. What I'm saying is this kid is fine. He's being told by his parents, or well, his mother, obviously, and his beta father, that this is bad that this is bothering him. He's being told how terrible it is. He doesn't really feel that way. And like I hate the fact that so many guys are willing to just be liars, fundamental liars. And I understand guys who lie about things like this because they want to get in with women.
So what age for you is a cutoff? Because you said you feel like 12 is different.
Yeah, 12 is just a child. I mean, for what age? I guess it depends on the kid, but I think 15-year-old boys are probably looking to spice things up, probably in their romantic lives. I think so. I maybe they're not always. Maybe they're not always. Who knows? But we're lying as a society. It's fine. We can do it. It's puritanical. It's fun.
Do you think there should be a different age of consent for boys and girls? like in terms of like statutory rape laws and stuff.
They're all farcical anyway. 18-year-old guys are sleeping with 16-year-old girls all the time. And it's like nobody's like, oh, no, it's okay, you know.
But do you think it should be like 16 for boys and 18 for girls? Like, do you think it should be different between the two? Or like 14 for boys and 16 for girls?
I'd make it different for the
something?
two. I think that women are much more vulnerable and are much more easily manipulated at that age. And also, I do think that men should, all teachers, I don't even like the idea of men teachers, but they should be dissuaded from...
Well, for some things, it's okay.
You know, it's funny, you know, when I was
I think for like high school math and science, you almost have to have male teachers.
When I was we had an intern when I was in radio like 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You may have met her. You knew about her. And anyway, she talked about, she went to college somewhere in Massachusetts, and she talked about how she slept with her professor, who had, you know, professors were allowed to sleep with students somehow. And she thought that like that was great. He was like romantic, and like she was all, I'm like, what a racket that is. This POS gets to wear like a sport coat with patches on his elbows and pretend to know a damn thing. And these dumbass, middle upper class like white girls look, oh, he's dreamy. What a racket that is. And that guy probably, I know for a fact, as a matter of fact, he was a big Obama voter and a big progressive. Like, man, look out for your predators, ladies. They are circling close and wearing pussy hats, but they are not your friend. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I didn't mean to.
You want to know a secret?
Yes.
I definitely had a crush on a high school English teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
So you slept with him?
No.
Alice?
Crush. Like daydream.
Uh-huh.
Not even like sexual. Like you don't have to make everything bad, but I definitely liked, and he was a youngish teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I had him twice. I had him my sophomore year and my senior year. As a teacher.
Oh, okay. Jeez, yeah.
I had him.
By the way, can I ask you something? Mm-hmm. A couple of years later, you also used to go to a massage therapist. That was also platonic, right?
It was platonic.
Okay. It's the women are so magical. Oh, I didn't consider that having sex. Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't consider it having sex because I didn't have sex with either him or the massage therapist.
No, absolutely.
Am I not allowed to have girlish crushes? Is that not allowed? How come you
sure.
How come you can't let me have any innocent, like, daydreamy crushes?
Did you have a girlish crush on me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Would you like to take people through?
I mean, before anything happened, nothing happened.
Right, of course. That's right. Until we physically were in the same room. So I have a question for you. Do you, what subject did this guy teach?
English.
Oh, God. Imagine what a racket. You get all little Lexington blondes all hot and bothered.
Who doesn't love like a floppy haired English teacher?
Oh, what a racket. Oh, he's such a charmer. My goodness, what a dream. And he gets emotional, like reading some parts of I'm saying reading some parts of Beethoven, but I know that's not probably, Beethoven wasn't known for his writing. Of Shakespeare, when you're like, oh my goodness, he's sensitive to it. So there you go. Yes, what he was doing was groomery, and that's why he
didn't do anything groomery. Nothing happened.
No. Yeah, I knew another guy. I knew a guy who was a teacher as well, and who was a coach. We'll say at Winchester High, and some people will know who this was. And he absolutely was not sleeping with any of the girls on the team. Absolutely not. They were allowed to have girlhood crushes. I think that's what was happening. But no, I think that there's a difference totally. And whatever. It's not. I just think why does everybody have to be a freaking liar, guys? Why do you guys are supposed to be the honorable ones, right? Or at least capable of being honorable. Women lie because they have to lie about their resumes. They have to lie about everything, the body counts, all that stuff. Women know they have to make a presentation to guys, and it's based on a lot of lies. A lot of lies, and that's good.
Women
because
are just pleasers, so
as
we
guys,
want to
you
make
want
you
to
happy.
believe what they're saying too. So you're like, okay, I'll opt in. Oh no, they were just friends. It's like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. But so that brings me to this. Ready, Alice?
I'm ready. What? Why are you sighing in that?
This is a
angry way?
transgender influencer. Have you heard of transgender before?
Yes.
Announces he's leaving the United States, starts selling Burt's Bees overnight. This is from Colin Rugg. Overnight lip treatment to fund the move. I'm leaving the country. I could use a little help. Okay. So this is the transgender guy leaving.
I'm leaving the country, and I could use a little help. As you might imagine, being a trans woman, I'm not super excited about the direction this country is headed. I live in an area that is still relatively safe for trans people, but I'd rather not be here if and when that stops being the case. So I'm leaving by the end of the year with my fiance to live in a place that has more constitutional protections for people like me. However, moving is expensive, generally, let alone moving to a whole ass other country. Luckily, TikTok, I guess, saw what I've been doing on this page and decided, you know what? This creator looks like somebody who could shill our products from the TikTok shop. In the past, this is not something I would have ever considered, but recently I actually started buying things on the TikTok shop. And as it turns out, you can actually get things for a really good deal that you might already be buying elsewhere. The benefit here is that if you click a link on a creator's video to purchase that product, that creator actually earns a commission on that sale. And that's where this overnight lip treatment from Burt's Bees comes in. Now, I didn't buy this on the TikTok shop. My
fiance. Okay, fine. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been a group of people where every aspect of their lives is our responsibility? You've done this to me. You voted for Trump. He's not doing trans rights, LGBT, so I'm having to leave. You now, that's on you. You need to finance it. You need to buy Burt's Bees lip products. You didn't call me the right thing. You didn't have my right thing. You made sure
I'm gonna kill myself unless
Exactly.
you do this.
It's like, fuck off. God, you needy pains in the ass. God, it's so freaking terrible.
And there's a difference. Like, this makes me crazy because, and you know, we obviously have a Patreon for our podcast, which those of you, thank you very much, who choose to pay for it to join us in the live chat and do stuff. Like, there's a difference to me. I only want you to pay for the Patreon if, like, it's beneficial to you to pay for the Patreon. If you want to do it, right? Like, I don't go out here and I'm like, oh, my kid needs braces. Sign up for my Patreon.
Well, they can tell. So
we're passive aggressively doing that.
Yeah, there are hidden like Easter eggs all over our show that people are like, maybe we should get them a computer. Maybe we should. But also like, there is something to be said for, at least on my part, very overtly saying that I am a whore. I am just, although, this is all the good, but I also, fine.
But this is like GoFundMe.
Right.
What this person is
doing.
But
like, why do we get, like, why everything? Why all your things of all your life has to be my, like, it's not your family. It's not your dad. It's like, why is it my, just go fuck off and go do whatever, like, what you want to do. It's just so, it's so inglorious. It really is. That, guess what? You're seeing me, that I don't look like a woman. I'm pretending, and that's on you. To start with, you have to pretend that I am representing right, passing, right? You have to pretend that I'm passing. You have to pretend that I am pretend that I am. You have to pretend that I'm not mocking women by acting like the most whimsical version of a girl, gathering daisies in a meadow, singing songs. All of this stuff. I need you to do all these things for me. And now you've voted for... I would like to see, by the way, the other countries where it's so.
Where trans people are treated better than the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not many of them.
I need you to buy my lip product. You, dude. It is so like, oh. It's...
Well, in a way, it's almost sad, though, that the left has convinced trans people that there are all these other countries where trans people are treated so much better. And there's like some better world out there when in most countries around the world, people like get murdered. You know, I know that they think that, you know, queer people are treated better in Palestine. But that's just not actually true. Like, you're going to find if you move anywhere else on planet Earth as a trans person, pretty much, you're going to be treated worse than in the United States. Because people in the United States are extremely live and let live.
It's not just that.
Nobody cares.
This whole country's in service to the LGBTQIA thing. They get a month. And that's just not just a month. They get other days. Trans Day of Identity, the Trans Day of this. They get every day, like every month is peppered with days for them. And like the whole month of June, you have to all do gay stuff for this month. You all have to do, and when we're involved in it, most of us are gonna take clothes off. You all, like, fuck off, man. Holy God. But I believe I have proved my gay ally bona fides more than most.
True.
So it's like, just... You owe us this. You have to do this. And if anything, if you question or have a question about the limitations of what you want to do at all, anything, that's tearing back trans rights.
Right.
Everything is a total affront on your life and liberty if somebody has a question about it. Like, can we make the gay pride...
Or if someone accidentally notices that you
were
assigned something different at birth, like...
Well, yeah. If somebody says, wait, trans women are women, and then they say, wait, trans women are specifically men. A trans woman is another word for a man. Is that right?
Right. That's correct.
Okay, so trans women are definitely not women.
They're exactly the opposite.
We need it to be just like that. We are. Like this thing that I think you sent us, or I sent us, or Rudy sent us, that shows the two, like, gay guys with the
men with the pregnancy test.
Pregnancy stick in... Are we pretending that one of them just urinated on that?
Well, one's probably a trans man who's really a woman.
Okay.
But is just on drugs to make them have a beard, you know, so that...
Who else gets to put so much stuff on everybody else? Just for me being me, because I grew up in Dover, Massachusetts, where my parents made a combined $700,000 a year. You have to now accommodate me on my new thing I'm doing. In every single way, including donate. Friggin' holy hell. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, what's the next item, Alice?
Well, speaking of rich kids and elite coastal enclaves, did you see the thing I sent where Harvard is now free to anyone whose family income is under $250,000 a year?
Really? Is that us? That's us, right?
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was $200,000. Anyway, it was, you know, a fairly substantial income. And I think that we're going to see the trend go this way. A lot of these elite universities were already need blind. The good schools do not need the government financial aid. Their endowments are so big.
Right.
Their donations are so substantial. Harvard, literally, from their endowment, they could afford to send every kid who goes there for free forever.
Right.
There's no, and that's been that way for, I think, over a decade now, because I think it was true when I was going to school that some of these elite schools had that kind of money. And, you know, not only do they not pay taxes, like property taxes in the cities and towns that they're in because they're nonprofits, but the idea that we subsidize them with all these student loans, like, I think the student loan thing is going to die on the vine. And it's really... It's not going to be like the Harvards and stuff that suffer, because Harvard is going to be fine. People are still going to go to Harvard. It's going to be the mid-range universities. You know what I mean? These sort of like B+ schools where we send all the like mediocre middle of the road students who have been told they're too smart to go to tech schools or community colleges, but you know, they couldn't get into like really good schools. Do you know what I mean? So they're
Of course.
So they're going to
Thank
these
you, Sally.
schools and they are, you know, racking up, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, and then wanting the taxpayer to subsidize it, which is nuts. And I think any movement towards elite schools being like essentially free for qualified students is probably a good thing. You know, if you're smart, if you get in, if you do well, then it's pretty much free for you, is something that makes sense, because that incentivizes the right people. Harvard has an incentive then to let in good people that are going to reflect well on Harvard. Right? Because it's not just about racking up money. They want to let in people who are going to be a long-term benefit to them, not people that are going to flunk out or whatever else. So I think that's a positive.
Harvard sucks. Can you imagine, Alice? Just imagine Harvard drafted David Hogg to go to their college because they hated Trump. Come on in, moron. We hate Trump. Wow. Yeah. No.
But I think that if schools aren't making unlimited federal government money off these kids, then they have much more of an incentive to make smarter decisions about who they let in. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I don't know. I think it's interesting because I think that cutting off the spigot of government money is going to have all sorts of good effects. I hope that we do it for student loans. I hope we cut off federal student loans and only have private student loans.
But also remember, there's also like these elite colleges also benefit from foreign nationals paying in cash.
Yeah.
So they like that very, very much as well.
They do. But I think, and I hope that we cut off like the student loan mess that we've created. But I think we're going to see all sorts of positive market effects from cutting off these government programs. Did you see the thing I sent us, that Elon Musk talking about how fraudulent these programs are and paying Stacey Abrams?
Yeah, I saw a bunch of the Musk stuff. It was fantastic with Ted Cruz, that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was doing this interview thing and, you know, talking about all the ways. Now, I think this is sort of like what people suspected about, you know, all these government grifters like Stacey Abrams. But it's nice to like have it confirmed by people who have time to dig through the data, right?
Oh, totally.
Take, for example, the $1.9 billion given to Stacey Abrams, a fake NGO.
Utter insanity.
Explain that. Forget to know the story.
That's corrupt. That's just corrupt, I think. That's paying off cronies at that point.
1,000%.
Yeah. And by the way, she knew. Like when you get $2 billion, you don't miss that. That's not
an accident.
Allegedly, it was for like environmentally friendly appliances or something, and they've given like 100 appliances so far for $2 billion. It's a very expensive toaster or whatever.
Really nice.
One hell of an appliance.
That Sub-Zero fridge, boy, it's nice.
Right. This is obviously one of the biggest scam fraud holes we've uncovered, which is really crazy. Is that the government can give money to a so-called nonprofit with very few controls, and then there's no auditing subsequently of that nonprofit. So there's no. So this is where with the $1.9 billion to Stacey Abrams, they then give themselves extremely lavish, like insane salaries, expense everything to the nonprofit, buy jets and homes and all sorts of things.
Live like kings and queens.
Yes,
on the taxpayer dime.
Correct.
You mentioned,
and this is happening at scale. It's not just one or two. We're seeing this everywhere.
Now,
can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
How much of the college thing that we talked about is that they're seeing the writing on the wall?
That's what I think it is.
That people are casting and look over there and saying, much like I think that like, and I think we're going to see this soon, is that members of Congress are going to start to notice that people are wondering how they all got rich.
Mm-hmm.
Like once the first story, once Ronan Farrow or some person goes and says, "A second, that's pretty good. You did that, and they did that, and they did that, and they
pretty good stock trades, guys."
Yeah.
once people start looking into this stuff, and, it's funny that all it really takes is like Elon Musk and 5 computer guys to go in there and start looking through stuff to find a million incredibly egregious examples. But
who elected him?
Well,
by the way, I have a question for you else. Would they be fine if Stephen Miller was doing the Doge stuff? Who would they be fine with?
What if Donald Trump was personally doing it? Would they be okay with that? Because people definitely elected him.
Right.
It's just funny because, they're all screaming and crying and freaking out and this and that. There was this doctor who was a professor at Brown who they didn't let her back into the country because she's basically in Hezbollah. She was going to the funeral of a Hezbollah leader and hanging out with and posting positive things about Hezbollah. And they were like, sorry, you're not like a citizen. You can't come back.
But remember the convention for 4 days. How dare we? This is our country now. We're doing this. This is a person who was here legally, and we're just throwing them out because Elon wants to. And now we find out that, the Hezbollah, same with the dude. The dude is like a piece of crap terrorist. She's a terrorist piece of crap. And, you never bothered to look. That's the problem. That's the problem. At least the men pretending that 15-year-old boys sleeping with hotties is rape, at least they're calculated. They're doing it for a reason. I got to say this because it's going to get me in here because... But that is, that's an emotional thing that you needed it so to be true.
But don't you think that there's, they've worn out the panic alarm that people have? They've worn people down. People do not care anymore.
I consider this, Alice, like a sanitarium that's been closed down. It has been condemned and is closed, but there are still a few people wandering around.
Because, there's been more polling, and Donald Trump's, polling has dropped a little bit, his approval rating and whatever, which I would kind of expect after that, initial honeymoon period. And, and he's been doing lots of stuff that gets headlines, and they've been frothing at the mouth about it, but it's still I don't know. It's 52-47, I think, was one poll that I saw. That, 52 don't like what he's doing, and 47 that's weak. Given what Biden's polling was like, most of his presidency, it fell into oblivion halfway into his presidency and with the inflation and the Afghanistan stuff and never recovered. And you're going to tell me that Trump having a 47% approval rating is somehow horrific and a scandal? It's embarrassing to them that with all the freaking out that they're doing, that they can't get his approval rating any lower than that.
Yes, exactly.
That's sort of, honeymoon period wearing off table stakes for presidential approval ratings. That's fine. As long as you're in the 40s, it's sort of normal, isn't it?
Of course.
Nobody ever likes what the president is doing. It's just funny to me that there's so little reaction to all the freaking out. It's funny. Did you see the Scott Jennings clip, by the way, that I sent us? It's another Scott Jennings clip, but it's funny because he specifically is, he's making fun of that. At this point, he's just having a good time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But they are on CNN not having it. They do not think he's funny.
Oh,
they
what
are
happened?
not amused. I have to show you this. They're
You send this to us?
Yes, this is a Scott Jennings clip.
Is it recent?
Yes, it's about the
Just send it?
I can resend it to you
Okay.
again. But it's essentially he's just having a good time making humor go because the Democrats are too ridiculous and he's having too good a time. But Jake Tapper does not think he's funny at all.
Oh, well, good. Here we go.
First of all, I just want to say I'm grateful for Chuck Schumer today. He helped defeat a racist Jim Crow filibuster in the Senate. And to stand up against the racist Jim Crow filibuster tactics was a moment of pure courage. And I just think he should be lauded by anybody in any party for that. That's number one. Number two.
It's a deep cut. Let me just explain for people at home.
I'm just saying.
When there was a Democratic push against the filibuster, people in the Democratic Party were saying it was a racist era, Jim Crow era.
And it was
tactic, the
terrible.
filibuster. So he's being cheeky.
And all
right, back to
not only that, but he saved us from the Democrats in the House laying off every single veteran in the federal government. Chuck Schumer, working with Donald Trump, saved us from that. So I think he deserves a lot of credit this morning.
Scott,
every veteran would have been laid off. Every veteran would have been laid off.
Scott's having a lot of fun.
Imagine how humorless these people are. Oh,
He's being cheeky.
I like that.
They're so mad. They're so mad that nothing that they're doing is working. And even like we didn't even really this Sunday watch much or any of the Sunday shows because it just feels like almost poor sportsmanship to even watch
Yes.
it.
How do you spell cheeky?
Cheeky.
Can I take a point of privilege, Els?
Uh-huh.
I'm going back and forth with this guy on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
And it's about,
The teacher? The teacher?
Yeah, the teacher who wants all the porn to be in the school, whatever. This guy comes back to me, and his tone, I find it very interesting. He said, what's your response to Rosa's level-headed point about allowing children a cell phone / internet access while trying to ban books? And the left keep saying, well, what do you mean? They want to ban books in these schools. Well, but these same parents allow their kids to have cell phones. And all the Democrats have this talking point. He said, what makes you think that you know better than thousands of schools, trained educators, what is appropriate in the school library? I responded, I said, yes, protecting kids from internet content is tough enough without schools, libraries providing new avenues into graphic trash. And the books are not banned. If parents want porn for their children, it's available to be delivered to their doors the next day. I said, the trained educators have lost my respect as they are mostly activists. He said, as you know, by the way, this is the second time he's saying, as you know. So I already know this dude's up to something. Oh, as you know, you know very well. So either he's up to something or he's AI. He says, as you know, libraries are a godsend for those who don't have means to buy books. A library ban is for many a total ban. Offering a variety of material. Why don't these people ever just mention that they want the porn in the place? Offering a variety of material for the variety of people in the world is not activism. It's simple human decency. To which I responded, handing porn to children is not human decency. It's illegal everywhere else but libraries. Why is it so important that we hand children graphic sexual content? And here's my only thing is I just want, let's just talk about the porn.
Yeah.
Let's talk about porn. But no, now we're back to a holistic view of everything. He says, we agree that adults should not hand porn to children. Oh, well, that should be it.
Okay, good.
But he goes on.
Then we're good.
He goes on, teens need to access books addressing sexuality.
Wait, they do?
Do they? As an educated adult, you know, he's talking to me once again. You know the difference between porn and other
Wait
sexual...
till he finds out you didn't go to college. He's going to have to...
Oh, that's a good point. I'm not an educated adult. As an educated adult, you know the difference between porn and other sexual content. Parent however you like, short of harm. Allow other parents to do the same. Does I respond to him? No, they could set up a system that allows individual access to the porn. They don't want that. They want it for my kids as well as their own. And I find this, then I said to them, but that is the point. It's like, just let them do their thing. No, they're not wanting to just do their thing because they could just do their thing all day and night.
Right.
They could go to the Hartford Public Library, the Boston Public Library.
Right.
They could go
you
to
can
Amazon.
go to the grown-up library where they have all the things.
Right.
And you can get the porn and give it to your kid anytime.
Exactly. It's about my kid and everybody else's kid.
It's about the parents that don't want their kids to have porn, making sure that they get it.
That's exactly right.
Because otherwise there's no point to any of this conversation.
Yes.
It's already legal for you to give your own kid porn. I would say, unfortunately. But, I mean,
Well, right.
I want them really banned. But yeah, like it's...
Just leave them alone. You know, just leave them alone.
Trish says, I don't have enough money to buy porn for my child. It is so psychotic. I mean, what's really crazy about it too is like they make everybody take all these classes, right? Whenever you like want to coach anything or volunteer for anything,
Yes.
you have to do like a gazillion hours of classes about how not to groom children and how to spot abuse and like whatever. And having read those, it's literally in like the pedophile groomer textbook to give kids porn.
Totally. Alex,
That's actually, I'm not even like
yes.
saying this to call librarians groomers because I think a lot of them are just going with what's like trendy because they don't know better. But that's literally one of the things they tell you to look out for is adults who want to like share sexual content with children because like, I know better than your parents. You're mature enough to handle this. Like that's literally groomer behavior. That's not an exaggeration. That's from the courses.
Kit to grooming is porn and fruity tasting wine. That's where you start. Just loosen up. Yeah, no. That's absolutely hilarious. Absolutely, just hilarious. I forgot what I was going to say. Keep talking. Say something again. What was I going to say?
I did have at least one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Oh, this is important because this gets at the Burn Barrel podcast's new role as a music criticism show.
Yes.
Big debate on Twitter today, actually involving friend of the show, John Gabriel, who's been on here, including on January 6th, 2021. I remember. If you recall.
Or would you call it September 11th? Oh, hold on.
Why is that happening? But big debate essentially saying, what is the defining song of Gen X?
Oh, that's a very good question. I mean, I think it would probably have to be "Smells Like Teen Spirit." Probably.
There's a lot of answers that say that. There's also, but some people had other ones that were. John Gabriel said he hates this, but Chad Felix Green suggested "Closing Time" or "Ironic." But a lot of that.
Right. Well, here's the thing: is that Gen X? Just the timestamp tells you it has to be something around the early '90s. Jagged Little Pill came out a little bit earlier. Closing Time, which is rubbish, it came out in the late '90s, so it has to be something before that.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought Closing Time was more of a millennial thing. For sure.
No. I think that would have to be. It would have
maybe
to,
an older millennial thing, but still,
it would have to be Nirvana. I mean, it Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Somebody
said
everything. Born in the USA, but that feels too old almost.
That's too old. Yeah, Gen X.
What
was
year
12.
did that come out?
85 maybe or 84. Yeah, that's a stupid thing to say. Born in the USA is a song about Vietnam.
Well, you were 12. There were Gen Xers who were older.
Sure, but it's not. I just totally disagree. I think that Gen X thing would have to be Nirvana then.
What do you think is the defining song for other generations? Like, what do you think is the defining song for millennials? I guess I should probably be more equipped to answer that.
Well,
though
it's
I don't know
interesting
that
because
if I am.
Because after when grunge came through and destroyed the establishment of rock and made it all seem overly glitzed in like Star Search and really made fun of it, and the Beavis and Butthead did the same, and that's an important thing. Like Beavis and Butthead like torched everything from the 80s and some stuff from the 90s and certainly from the 70s as being like illegitimate, stupid, too polished. Then there were all the clones of the grunge people, and then the shit came in. So all the stuff that used to be on Star Search, which was considered like tacky as hell, got mainstreamed.
Like boy bands,
Lou Pearlman, like all the stuff that grunge was like double finger to, all got huge. So I don't know, for millennials, probably something by Britney Spears, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say either. It's funny. I was going to say either Britney Spears or her fellow Mouseketeer, Justin Timberlake, when he came out with like Sexy Back. Because that bridges the divide between the boy band stuff and then like other stuff that happened. I
can see that too, because also at that point, like old people like me had moved off of also, and I don't know if how much of a factor this is, but people in my cohort, around my age, stopped prioritizing what's on the radio or like music. You're deep into life at that point. Stuff is busy, and with some exceptions, you are moving on. Plus,
what's the defining song for boomers?
I mean, they claim the Beatles, but the defining song.
Do you think, I mean, is this way too cliche, but do you think the defining song for boomers could be American Pie? Or is it too
Could
on
be.
the nose, sort of, because
Could
it's
be,
like
but
trying too hard?
I mean,
So my mom is a boomer, obviously,
Yes.
and she never liked American Pie. I discovered American Pie because my mom didn't like it and was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! How come you don't
Although,
love this?"
is that
and
from the 70s, Don McLean? Is it?
And she said that she never liked that because it was trying to be nostalgic about something, like while it was like still happening. It was like nostalgic about something that wasn't done.
People love
you know
to
what
be
I mean?
nostalgic. I went to school with this
So,
kid.
that was
This kid
interest-
Mike.
an interesting
Hold on, I
take
went
on
to
it.
this kid. I went to school with this kid Mike, who at Austin Prep, Miss Howell, is my friend. And we were friends, and he was a smart kid, but I got him into the Beatles. So he was like big into the Beatles. He decided to be a George guy. He started pinning guitar.
Oh, nobody's worse than the people
know,
who
I know.
decide
He
to
started-
have George as their favorite
He played the
Beatle.
guitar like George, and like danced like George, which was odd. In like 1986, 1987, somebody moving like.
Nobody's real favorite Beatles, George. I'm sorry.
But it's funny because like, oh no, it wasn't him. Maybe it wasn't him. It was not, maybe it was. It doesn't matter. But he and another guy, who I hung out with, these two guys, they wanted, because we had lost John Lennon by then, but we were too young to know, and they were looking for their martyr of their time to have been lost, and shit, who's in the Traveling Wilburys? Who's a Roy? Anything you want, you got it. Come on, Roy.
Orbison?
Yeah, Roy Orbison died of like a heart attack, whatever. Right around that time, and my two friends were like in mourning, like it was John Lennon. They're like lighting candles and stuff. It's like, we lost Roy. Roy Orbison's 56, guys. We're 16. Not sure if it's neither here. I guess I could have left that in the cutting room floor. Sorry, Miss Howell. I'm finding her, by the way.
I Googled during the show. I didn't find her. Maybe she got married and has a new name.
She got married and got the hell away from Austin Prep boys. I guarantee you, she felt them.
She went to go teach at a girls' school.
Definitely. Okay, Alice. What is the heated sauce? We don't even do the
We
heated
don't
sauce
even do
anymore.
that anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ready? Ready?
Ready? I'm ready for the chat. I was born ready.
Hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
I got a good feeling. I've got a good feeling.
This entire kids can't do math or read, etc., has been going on for years, because in 2006, 7, and 8, I was working at a publisher, and I made massive amounts of money selling basic math books into colleges. And each one of them had a retro chapter that started the book out to like a refresher on your high school math. That's how bad it got. And I mean, we were selling them. We couldn't keep them in stock. That's how many we were shipping. And that was 2007, 6, 7, and 8.
Here we go.
Yeah, the remedial English at Tufts. That was like 2006.
It should make you cry how poorly prepared for the world these kids are today.
There we go. Yeah. Fools. Albie, any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we're sending a lot of kids to college that clearly
You
don't
use Burt's
belong
Bees. Your lips are very nice.
Thanks. I have in the past. I'm
this
original chapstick kind of girl,
This
honestly.
is you without makeup, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not wearing makeup.
Okay,
no.
good. That would be so disappointing.
Yeah, no.
You do look good.
I'm not a liar like that. I'm not catfishing you.
I feel extremely old
What?
leaving this message.
Oh,
but
crap,
I feel
Steve.
like
I got to tell you something about that. It's feeling extremely old.
Okay.
I talked to this woman today who called up and said, I just want everybody to know I'm at the senior citizens home, that Chris Murphy's coming here to speak tonight. So if all you seniors remember to come out and like go see him, whatever it is. And I said, I was interested in her life. She's at the senior citizens home. And I said, what year did you graduate high school? I'm expecting to hear 1946. Alice.
85?
76. 1976. Holy God, my babysitters were 1970. You're at the senior citizen. They really screw you on time. Nobody touches it. That should be a class in high school. Forget about quantum physics, whatever your nerd daughter.
Tell you that
they should tell you that
that time goes fast.
That 1970.
I think there's all kinds of like idiomatic expressions about how time, quote unquote, flies.
No, I didn't see none.
Okay, just checking.
I didn't see any. I was looking at Miss Howell.
Like social media, cell phones, and the TVs that have 1,000 channels have ruined children because they don't know how to be kids these days. They don't know how to be creative in the way that they use their minds to learn and keep busy and come up with creative ideas. Everything's handed to them these days. You can Google the answer to any question that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch YouTube hours on end to waste a day or keep yourself busy. They have influencers dictate their lives as opposed to parents and relatives and people in the neighborhood. And forget about going outside and getting fresh air or doing anything creative because these kids don't want to go outside anymore. They don't want to get exercise, and that obviously leads to things like childhood diabetes and them not being fully engaged in anything. So as much as social media can be great in terms of things like Facebook to reconnect with people, I really feel like
Facebook is just to see who in your class is fat now and who looks good and if the people are still hot. And possibly saying, hey, it was so much fun knowing you in 1985 and hoping for, that's what I use it for anyway.
My class, by the way.
What?
My class, by the way.
Where are your old beaux here? Or like certain, English teachers who you absolutely were not romantic with. Where are they not reaching out to you?
I'm not like friends with exes on Facebook.
Oh, exes?
Or English teachers that I had crushes
Totally different thing.
I was
totally
never friends
category.
with any teachers on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
This technology is what's really hurting the kids because, as parents, we try not.
Steve, are you in like Thunderdome or Mad Max world here, where every kind of vehicle you're riding in the desert alongside of them?
Not to coddle them. We try not to, have a bubble around them. We want them to go out, but they don't want to. So it's just a crazy thing, and it's something that I don't think any of us ever thought would be imaginable growing up in the 80s,
There's a land speeder now just made its way past Steve. What is that? So, I hear you on the bubble stuff. I'm right there with you. It is a little bit tougher. I was concentrating a lot on the vehicles around you. But Steve, you know what we really need to do is go to J. Pache and get some tripe. I am so dying for tripe.
No, that's a real world experience. My class, by the way, is planning the 20-year reunion this year.
Oh, really? You're that old? Oh. Wow. Will that teacher be there? What's his name?
No, teachers don't go to class reunions. He didn't graduate with us.
Mm-hmm. In a sense, he did. What was his name?
No.
What's his name, Alice?
No.
Did your younger sister, who just got married, did she have him too?
I have no clue if my siblings had him.
You're such a liar.
I don't know if my siblings had him.
Oh, God. My goodness. Okay, fine. We'll play along, Alice. I'll play along. I like the whole...
It's a very Irish name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No.
Oh, I'm sorry to disrespect him. Sorry, Alice. I know that the memories are precious. With you and Mr. O'Leary. Was it?
No.
What was it?
No.
Yes.
I'm not telling
I
you.
gave you Miss Howell.
I'll
Let's
tell
go.
you offline.
No.
I don't feel like getting random people who have nothing to do with this in trouble for no reason who didn't do anything wrong.
Did you ever physically touch him?
No. No.
Ugh, okay. Fine. I'm used to this. It's fine.
Just like how you guys check the Melrose Facebook page.
Yeah.
I was on Reddit checking out to see where the accidents were because I got to do some driving. And
That's on Reddit? You check out accidents on Reddit? I am finding Reddit more interesting. Although it served me up a raw rape a month ago.
Reddit is such a wild west, and there's a lot of insane people on Reddit, but I do find it useful for some things.
somebody posted something, and the title is, "I'm interested in a guy who vomited on himself." And all I could think of was, Alice, that post is apparently 17 years too late. Sorry, Alice.
How dare you? How dare you? Oh, I did. There were some times. I don't want to think about that. Mistakes were made when I was in high school. Just mistakes were made, including vomiting all over this guy's truck, and I had to just. I was not. You know what I was meant to be? I was meant to be a slave. I mean, I wouldn't be a
good slave.
No, I'd be the laziest, fattest slave that anybody's ever known, and bring down morale. But I wasn't meant to be. Why was I 15?
Why have you been given freedom?
Yeah, I can't deal with freedom. This is not. It's not for me. It's not good. It's not good. Just maybe next time around, I'll come back as an English teacher and absolutely not sleep with my blonde yacht bunny students.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you want to join us for live streams in the live chat every day, you can do that at patreon.com/burnbarrel. If you like listening to the Burn Barrel podcast for free, you can do that at...
You know who wrote the screenplay of the afternoon special about how the 15-year-old kid had sex with a smoke show who's 26? Mm-hmm. And how it was actually very traumatizing for him. You know who wrote that, Albie?
Oh.
From the mind of Mindy Kaling.
If you like listening to the show for free, you can do so at burnbarrelpodcast.com. There's links to Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all places to listen. We appreciate all of you guys so much. Have a great night.
C'est la vie.